Hi, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Jade Bailey. I'm a property developer and designer.
Hi guys, my name's Jonathan Iwanu. We're both property developers from Nottingham. Today we're going to share with you our property experiences and hopefully some valuable content.
So we're going to be talking about Instagram and we're going to be talking about design along with
networking and sourcing, along with anything else we can cram in.
Hey Jonathan.
Hi Jade, how you doing?
I'm alright, you?
Not too bad, it's cold.
It's quite cold. So I suppose this is probably going to be our first video for our new YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I think so. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, well, first of all, we should probably talk about how we know each other.
Okay, we can shoot with that, to start with that.
Shall I set the scene?
I think you're quite it's got a good stance with the interview type.
This is me going back 2 years. Okay, so like 2 years ago, I mean, we could talk about Instagram in a bit more detail later, because I think that's a really important subject for anybody that's getting into property or wants to, or is already in property.
Agreed.
But we met 2 years ago online,
We did.
on Instagram, yeah. And I first went on there and you'd just gone on there.
Yes.
You were the first person I ever saw.
Really?
No, let me finish.
First person that you followed?
No, property developer type person that like looked a bit, you had a logo and...
I tried.
you looked quite young and down to earth.
That was a fiver, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it did the trick. I was like, oh my God, geometric logo. The irony.
It was monochrome as well.
I know it was.
You bloody
Jonathan,
loved it.
You are my muse. No, but that's where we met, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And we're both from Nottingham.
Both from Nottingham. Both started on Instagram fairly same time.
Yeah.
You were like three. I think I looked the other day because we've recorded this before.
Yeah.
So this is the second take, and I looked the other day.
You don't need to know.
No, but like the second set.
Yeah.
Because while we were talking about it initially, I was like, I thought I did it in January. It wasn't. I did it December.
Oh, so you just...
So I went, so I had gone skiing with my friend. He was telling me about Instagram, and obviously we're getting on a bit now. So I was like, I don't know whether I can put enough time into a new social media. I'm a bit of a fossil now. I'm not going to do that. So I started looking at it then.
Yeah.
He was doing a jiu-jitsu page, and and that's where it came from. And I was like, I could do this with property. No one else is doing it apart from Mike and Victoria.
Yeah.
Those were the only people that were doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When did we meet in person? Actual real face to face? Before you went travelling?
Yeah. So probably 2018 then maybe. It's got to have been because...
When did you go travelling?
I went travelling from 1st of sort of January, didn't I?
Oh, so maybe about a year ago.
So it would have been a year, yeah. So it would have been just before that.
So this is our friendship
anniversary,
and here we are filming a YouTube channel together.
Yeah.
Cool.
See how things move quickly, right?
Yeah.
So we met on Instagram. You immediately started stalking, going, look how good this is.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah. And then
like a rat up a drain pipe.
Exactly. And then we just started talking regularly pretty much since then.
Oh, because actually, you did that video with Mike and Victoria at one of your commercial conversions.
That was the first
And you were there with your little white shirt on and your chinos and your scarf.
Just
and
ran off from...
Yeah, this guy looks like kind of normal.
Try hard.
Yeah. Little shoes on the middle of the building site.
No, so that was when I met Mike and Victoria, they were on Instagram already.
Yeah, and we're talking obviously about Mike and Victoria from Inside Property Investing.
IPI. So they were on already, and we was having a chat, and I was like, I've not really put much time into it. I've got my logo on there in like one picture.
Yeah.
And they were doing a lot on there, and I was like, okay, I'll put some more time in, and that was the first thing that we I put on there. And then that's where it's kind of gone from. So
shall we have a chat about Instagram?
Yes.
Because I mean, for me, definitely, it's been instrumental in my property life for the past couple of years. And I think it has for you.
Same, yeah. It's done wonders for me. And it's mad because I didn't get anything like that from like Facebook or anything else.
Yeah.
Like that's just dead, right?
So on Instagram, I'm known as B-Space.
Yeah.
You're obviously under...
It's my full name, Jonathan M. Iwanu, yeah.
And that's quite interesting because I talk a lot about Instagram with other property people. And one thing I always say to everybody is make the decision quite early on whether you want to be known as a person or a brand.
Or the brand, yeah.
Like for me, I always instantly knew I wanted to be known as a brand.
Yeah.
And never as like Jade Bailey, the property developer. Okay. So I think...
Mine was the opposite.
It was the opposite.
Because I started off as
Jeremiah.
Yeah, and I swapped it because I was like, actually, it's not really about Jeremiah, it's about me.
Yeah, so you sort of early on made that decision.
Yeah, but you've got a few different accounts, right?
Yeah, so I've got 3 Instagram accounts.
Yeah, so I've only got the one.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so I've got my personal one, which is kids.
Yeah.
I've got the barn self-build that I'm doing. Dot Barn. And then, but my B-Space one is very much my business one. So it's very much the shop window to my property developing and my design service and really my values and what I'm about. But I think I always felt comfortable, maybe it's because I'm from a retail brand background, I always felt comfortable doing it like that as opposed to Jade Bailey, property developer. So that was always my angle. So I think that's a really important thing that everyone should kind of consider when they're first starting out. But like you changed halfway.
Like reverse engineering it. You can, that's the best thing about it. You can just decide one day to swap it over. It's just about like the consistency of it. You want a consistent message and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you need to think about what you want out of it in the end.
100%.
And then that's the way you need to go.
So like what's your position? What are you trying to get out of?
What am I trying to get out
like,
of it?
No. And like anybody.
If you're, sorry.
If we're talking solely about Instagram. And this applies to anyone in any industry.
And this applies to literally everything. Especially like, property.
Like what's your message? What's your USP?
And what do you want out of it?
Like my example of, like to anyone would be, so like I've always been quite honest from early on that, you know, I'm not amazing at everything to do with property developing. So in terms of like the numbers side of things, and maybe like the legal and the systems, I'm a bit like, oh, yawn. But
that's what you pay people to do, though.
Exactly. And it's about leveraging skills, as we know. But I've always been strong at the design stuff, so it was always the design stuff that I was really passionate about and wanted to be known about. So that's always been my position and my angle. And that's I continuously go along, you know.
Because that's what you enjoy, right? That's what you enjoy.
What I'm not going to do is like rock up on, you know, next week and go, I'm a mortgage broker, because, oh, God, trust me, you don't want me as a mortgage broker. So it's position.
They use I did the mastermind thing, and Simon uses this good analogy, it's called an analogy, right? Where there's a light switch on the wall, you know inherently to press the light switch and the light comes on, right? The same thing with all of those kind of stuff, what you pay people to do, you know, you flick the switch and it works. You don't need to know 100%. The intricacies of how that works, like that's, you're paying someone to do that. So it's cool, that's what, I mean, I kind of went in there and I didn't have I didn't really think about what I wanted out of it initially, which is why I put it on as JMI.
Same.
And then I thought, later down the line, I was like, hold on a minute, doesn't quite fit with what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing JMI, I'm sharing pictures of bedrooms and deals, which I did at the start, which is cool. But then like if I want to share a picture of like the dog, well, that looks stupid on JMI. And I just, I didn't know that you could even do two, to be honest. So that's why.
You didn't know you could do
I didn't even know. I mean, I did later on down the line. And then I was like, oh, well, I'm past it now, you know.
But you know, what's interesting is, like you said, you kind of, I evolved into B-Space because I didn't start off, I didn't rock up on day one like this dark geometric brand.
No, you had a B on it.
No, I was.
I thought it had like honeycombs, like with a B, little B.
Because it was called Honeybee Properties.
That's it. Yes, that's what it was called.
I mean, it's, because I just started the account because, you know, my partner Tim was like, you should document what you're doing. Because
which is right.
Because I've always been into Instagram on a personal level just to follow brands. Like, you know, fashion, music, whatever. Document what you're doing so our friends and family can see. So I just use our SPV name at the time. As the handle. And then thought, oh,
makes sense.
I think see this guy here, he's got a logo, I might get a logo done.
Bosh.
Yeah, here I am. And then as it started to grow a little bit, I was like, I can't be known as this name. It doesn't sit right with me. Like you kind of went, oh, I don't think the company...
I just did the same, but like a different route. Exactly the same.
So that's an important thing to consider, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. So what was yours is the shop window. Explain like what that means, the shop window thing.
Okay, so if I was going to explain what I mean by the shop window, and I say that because I'm a retailer for like 20 years, that's my background. So that's my commercial, the way I think commercially, and that's kind of how retail design is the principles that I've taken over into my own developing. So shop window on Instagram is what we call the grid. So what you see, what's always there. I'm going to show you my best work. It's very curated. The message is very on point. So it's always going to be there so you can always see it. So this is what represents my brand really, really well. This is what I'm about, this message, visual. And then on stories, which last 24 hours, I'm going to have a bit more fun and it's a bit more relaxed and it's not so curated and it's just showing a little bit about my everyday and what I'm up to. So shop window versus stories is two different things. But I think it's important to show both.
I agree,
I love your stories.
I think it's important to say as well.
Your stories are all about the bants, literally.
That's all that, but that's what Instagram for me has become that. Like, it's become me just kind of showing off it's just me being me, like my personality on it. I just think it's a bit boring what I was doing before, showing pictures of yellow bedding and grey rooms. You know what I mean? There's only so many rooms people want to look at. I mean, that's what I think.
You know, I think that about
and then you're
stuff.
like, oh, what? For example, like, oh, another picture of a lamp, close-up shot of a lamp. You're like, whoa, you know, like there's only, surely people get bored. I don't know, this is what I think. Yeah. Surely people are bored of that now. And that might be why, because we were talking earlier a little bit about a bit of a drop-off. Yeah. Maybe that's what's happening. Maybe people are just like, oh yeah, you know, it looks great, but I've seen it before.
Totally.
That kind of thing. Yeah, yeah. Because there's only so many styles like that can happen, and so many pictures that you can take, and they look great, but it's just not engaging is the word, right?
But even though I've got so many projects and everything for me is really, really visual, I'm very conscious of not too many bedroom shots.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I really think about what I'm posting.
Okay.
So I'm always mixing it so the whole grid stays visual.
It's got that diversity
so even I'm very conscious of that.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the message, the things that you write underneath the pictures are important. But then on the flip side, I don't like long posts. Yeah,
see, I'm just completely slacking. I get the VA to do it all. And I don't agree with that personally. Like, she'll pop one up and I'll be like, oh crap, I need to quickly write something about that because I feel bad.
The thing is, that's not something that I would like recommend somebody to do. Because
I agree.
I think with Instagram as the platform, it's about being authentic.
Yeah, that's not me. Yeah, I get that.
And it's like people see through that.
Yeah, that's true. Know. But the problem that I was having...
So you can't ask for engagement and then ask a VA to post.
100%. I mean,
it doesn't work.
100%.
Doesn't work.
Problem I was having was I just wasn't putting the time in, and then the VA was there to catch it if I didn't. Yeah. And I was trying to do a post a day. So if I couldn't do that post, she'd pop one on, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, I need to write about that. And I'd like delete it, write about it or something. So
oh my God, you always know when a VA's got an account, you're like, why have you posted a picture of a dirty toilet? I don't get that.
Just hashtags.
Yeah,
that's all that's underneath,
just
hashtags.
Yeah.
But she's fantastic. But yeah, I promise I will change that.
So time is an interesting thing about socials, because I think a lot of people think that I'm constantly on Instagram all the time. And generally speaking, like if I'm doing, you know, the back end, I'm finishing a project or I'm on site and it's the really good stuff.
Yeah.
I am on Instagram a lot while I'm doing that because that's what my audience like to see. But generally speaking, what I always say to people is, because I don't have a lot of time ever, because I've got 2 little kids and a million things going on. Yeah. But Instagram for me is a business tool,
it's marketing,
like bookkeeping, like operations, anything. So I say to myself, and because I always want my Instagram to be my own personal voice, I structure my time. Yeah. So I say 10 minutes in the morning. So like after the school run, I try and post if I can, and I also try and prep post the night before.
That makes me feel like absolutely
right. So 10 minutes in the morning, like while I'm having my cereal. Yeah. And then check back in at lunch just to reply to comments. Yeah. 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes at night time.
That's really good.
So half an hour a day.
Yeah.
But this is my shop window of my business.
Exactly.
It's for free marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's just that mindset shift.
See, I don't have it. I don't do that. And that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's super important, because like what we're saying, we're talking about networking and things like that. And we're going to talk properly about that. Yeah, yeah. But like networking takes up so much of your time. If you're doing a networking event, you've got to leave at like 6. Yeah, you've got to drive there. You spend all night there. You drive home. So there's no time in the evening for you. Yeah. This is networking from like your living room. Yeah, I mean, that's what people need to think about.
I do all my networking from this.
That's all you need.
Like, it's crazy.
And now look, I mean, we're friends from it. We've got like, there is a property sort of group on there, right? You know, there's like a group of people that we've all kind of, that we know. We were even in that weird group for a while. Do you remember that one? Like,
God, don't say the name.
I don't even know what it was called. But like, there's those kind of things on there. So we all know a lot of people from that.
Yeah, definitely.
And we met Tom from, what's the property called? Fat Property called, yeah. We met Tom when we went away, and I was friends with him without even meeting him.
Yeah, but like meeting Tom was like meeting your mate.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
You go to the pub with on a Friday or whatever.
So all from Instagram as well, which is cool.
Yeah, I think as well, like, I don't know if you agree with this, but we both started on there around the same time, like 2 years ago. And I think in 2 years, there was probably like this amount of people. Yeah. Mike, Victoria, Tom being on there. And then in 2 years, it's just gone boom in terms of community. And I'm pleased that I was a part of it in the early days. Yeah. And like not now, because it must be quite overwhelming stepping into it now, but it's so friendly that once you probably hit your stride, it's
nice because it's not curated. Like you know, like the Facebook groups.
Oh right, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like on Facebook, for example.
I've never got involved in
but
property. Oh, I did once. I posted some pictures of a HMO that I'd done in a quite well-known group. Yeah. And they jumped on me like vultures.
Yeah, it just got rinsed.
Ripped me to bits, and I was just like, oh my God, like these were really good pictures.
I had the exact same experience.
I had some people going, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Then other people going, this is way too trend driven.
Like,
and I'm just
like,
wow,
you're defending yourself, aren't you?
Yeah,
like straight away, and your back's against the wall. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. That is the vibe on Facebook.
Yeah. I once had one. I've got to share this with you because it's bloody hilarious. I once posted, so we were having a problem with we had a big property.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a big property, well, we still got it. And all the people in there were not washing the pots up. Okay.
Oh.
Like it was getting messy, and we were getting not voids, but we were having changeovers, and we were showing people around, and we've got a cleaner.
Yeah.
But the cleaner's job is not to wash pots.
Yeah.
Right. So there's all these pots. So I put in the group, how can I combat this? This is the idea. They're my pots. Yeah. I pretty much walked up to the noose myself, jumped off and everything. So I've we've got all these pots. My idea is bin them all. They're my pots.
Yeah.
Tell them to wash their pots or to get binned. Yeah. And then before long, it'll be like Lord of Flies. Yeah. They'll have one pot, one plate and one spoon, and they'll have to eat with it. Yeah. Unless they look, these are full-grown adults. This is a professional house. Anyway, someone commented on there how many times do you clean the house a month? And I was like, well, we do it twice. That's not the point here, because the cleaner doesn't wash the pots. Yeah. It's the tenants. This is the problem. And she was like, it's completely unacceptable. And I was like, oh my! I just put lol. What am I supposed to write to that? Yeah.
How do I
combat it? So ever since then, I was just like, I'm never going to put.
So we've both been sort of stung by just, I don't know, trying to just be like.
I would ask for help.
Genuine.
I asked for help.
I was like, because the thing I replied to wasn't just like, oh, let me show you my best work. It was like, can everybody please post the best HMO? And I just finished one.
Okay.
And I was really proud of it. And it was my second ever one. Yeah. You know the one near you in
Yeah.
So it's like the first time I ever did dark and yellow. And I posted that, and I was really proud of it, because they were saying post your best work. I posted, and I just thought never again.
Wow.
And on Instagram, if you'd have posted that in your stories or whatever.
Yeah, I'd have had 10, 15 people saying, do this, do that, try that.
Do that, or let us know how you get on. And it's just a totally different environment from what I can understand.
It's the vibe, I think that's the vibe thing that you get.
So if you were thinking about opportunities that's come to you off the back of Instagram, what's been your best stuff?
My best stuff, I was going to say that, but it's probably not off Instagram. I got an investor. That was partially from Instagram. Mm-hmm. Partially, I don't know whether he looked at my Instagram and then found the podcasts and then listened to that and then got into it. I'm not sure which way around it was, but it may have been through the podcast and then through the Instagram.
Podcast have
it was IPI, Inside Property Investing. That's the one that it came from, that one. So that was really good. I couldn't pin that on that straight away.
Yeah, but it definitely helped.
100%, because that's what, straight away he looked at that, and that was same to having a website, apart from people just access that so much quicker now, and they do that instead. That's probably the best one, I could say. I've not really got a proper deal from it, but I've got things that have come off that, like relationships that have started deals, things like that. I've not had someone post a deal and then say, what about this? But I've had intros and things. I've got, I write in a magazine. I write bi-monthly for HMO magazine. Yeah. That came from that.
I think I'm supposed to write for them.
Are you?
Yeah, I always get a notification.
Yeah, and then you just put the graft in. It's about you just recycle the content.
I know.
So I use that. A couple of months later, I'll put that into a blog.
I've been in it.
Yeah, I know. But
I'm not trying to rain on your parade.
No. But that came from Instagram as well. Yeah. Yeah, for you, I'm sure that came for you from Instagram as well.
Yeah. In terms of okay. So
what about you?
In terms of opportunity, bonkers really. The first thing was Mike and Victoria from Inside Property Investing did the podcast with me right back in the beginning. And that was the thing that kind of really helped get followers and stuff. That was amazing. That I'll always be grateful for them too for giving me that opportunity. Since then, in terms of stuff like that, I've done magazines. Mm-hmm. What other content stuff have I done? That's not been my main thing. I think so the biggest thing that Instagram has given me, 3 things. First is a design business. Yeah. So B-Space is a profitable design business that I never ever had the intention of doing.
That came all from Instagram.
All organically from Instagram. That's cool, posting my own work, other people saying, can I book you to do this? And then I've done that, and at a point in my life where I needed the cash to buy the barn, it really helps.
Well, that's a good point as well, because how people always question how you monetize it.
Yeah, I mean,
that right there,
massively. So I currently work with 4 joint venture partners. The first one is my family member that I've always openly spoke about. So she's not from Instagram. Yeah. And we still work together. And then the other 3 have all come off the back of Instagram. Wicked. Yeah. All from, either the podcast and sort of that way, or just from generally watching and listening to what I'm about and just going, I'd really like to be involved in this.
Yeah, relatable, like being relatable.
So, you know, we're at a position now where we're building our portfolio using joint venture money with some really wicked people, but I'm very much about the people that I'm going to work with.
Yeah, super important, yeah.
So it's like I get a lot of people say, oh, what's your JV offer on Instagram? But I'm quite selective and it takes a long time for me to go down that road.
Yeah.
So that's 100% come off Instagram. And then relationships, like friends and people and business opportunities, all connected. Like when I started, I was like, I just had my second baby and I was quite lonely, like, you know, 2 kids isolated at home with my phone. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's grown and now I've got all these additional...
Property friends.
To
be fair though, property is a lonely game, right?
It's such a lonely game.
So,
And we've created this community on Instagram and now, you know, those friends online have become real friends.
Going out for Christmas dinner.
Next week, aren't we?
So, and that's,
went to Ibiza together.
Yeah, but that's brought like, as a community as well as Instagram, it's brought like the guys that we know that are local to us, we now kind of have all connected, we all know each other properly, not just from like an odd networking event and you're like, oh, I know that guy. Like properly know each other now and we're going to go out for food, which is cool. Yeah, it's different, right?
And also it gives us opportunity from a business perspective to share, like, you know, like Jamel, who were going out from ALS Properties. He was like, Jada, I need a better solicitor, so I passed on my solicitor details. Yeah. And weirdly enough, it turned out that we'd been using the same broker for 10 years. Yeah, and we never realised. But it's just, you know, you kind of get that additional business support. Yeah. And then, obviously, I did my event, which came off the back of my Instagram follow, which was crazy.
That's a good thing to talk about.
My females event that I did in August, and we sold like 64 tickets.
Yeah, that's huge, isn't it? Massive.
But people came from like Ireland, Wales, Scotland, London,
all off Instagram,
to Nottingham,
all off the back,
all off back of Instagram because they were looking for something. But anyway, that's a different thing. My point being is that in terms of relationships and community, that's given me like a new lease of life.
Super important.
So important.
Yeah. We should say as well, we should take the time to say that Instagram and like all those social things are pin-ups, are best case scenario. People don't post about things that have gone bad or whatever. So that's something that people should bear in mind when they're getting on it. Yeah. There's not really that on there. So it's a lot of people get on there and then get disheartened because they're measuring themselves up.
But that's where community and relationships come in.
Agreed,
because then when you're with these people or
you're
in your group WhatsApp, you know, you can say, this thing's happened to me, this is really bad, and it's making me feel like this. What do I do? Help.
Exactly.
And then you've created your own...
network. It's a networking. Yeah. It's all networking, right? Definitely. So yeah, I think that's super important. So anyone getting involved should definitely start with that, right?
100%. But my number one thing for Instagram is please be authentic. Yeah. Like, find your voice, be authentic, and actually engage with people. It's so important.
100% engagement. It's about giving, right? All about giving back. We were talking on the other video, we spoke about the followers, right? Yeah. We'll talk about that as well because it's funny. So.
What?
Help a brother out with the followers. But no, what happened was we started similar times.
What, you mean because you've been on 9,000 followers for
about
months.
A year.
Do you remember one of the first times we met and I said to you in front of your friend, oh yeah, Jonathan's bought all of his followers. And you were just like, oh my God.
Everyone said that. Everyone says that straight away. Yeah, like someone's like, oh no, he's bought his. And I was like, whoa, bro, I haven't paid for them. Like, but
I know you haven't.
I haven't paid for them. But what I have done is, so Gary Vee does like this, it's a video. It's a video about how he generates more followers. And what that was, and this is something that I farmed out. Yeah. And all about going back to being authentic, we stopped doing it. But that's probably why mine stagnated so much. Yeah, I would have thought, like why the growth stagnated. Yeah. So what you do is effectively you look for your keywords. So I've got 30 keywords, which are the hashtags that we post. Mm-hmm. Every one of those, if you put it into Instagram,
where do you post hashtags?
I always put it on the bottom. I know you put it on
I put it in
bit
the
below,
comments,
right? Yeah,
just because it looks cleaner. Nicer when you're scrolling.
And it does look nicer. Yeah. It does. I'm just lazy. So back to the grid. Yeah. You put it in. You search for like so let's say HMO. Put HMO in the grid, and then you get the top 9 things that have been liked or have got, you know, and it's you're you're always 11th. What are you on about? So you put on there. You like comment on each one. Yeah. On the top 9, he calls it something like 50 cents or something, Gary Vee's model, and that's we did that to grow, and that was like liking other people's stuff, commenting, and engaging as much as possible.
Yeah, you put the graft in, but it wasn't genuine graft.
Agreed.
That's the problem I have.
Because it was a VA, and I take full responsibility for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you're open about that.
Yeah, that's why on some of my stuff you'll notice that, you know, there's people that have got like 20,000 followers and they get 30 likes. You know straight away that's not legit.
Listen, I have been known to get on stories.
You know that is not legit,
this.
yeah. But when, like, I think we normally work on like, I think that's about 1 to 3% response rate, something like that. That's which is poor.
Yeah.
Which is poor. And you look at other people that have got like 200 followers and they're getting 200 likes, and that's absolutely sick.
Yeah,
that's amazing. But that's just the way that it's grown for me, and that's just the way it is. You probably get the same amount of likes as I do, and you've got probably 60% of the followers. You probably how many are you on now?
I'll tell you what I find. If I'm on stories more, I definitely get more likes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you can do the tips and tricks, but in the end, it's about engagement. And real people who are actually interested in what you're talking about and the value you get from them are never going to be more than just some numbers on a digital page that you're on there. And that is the most important thing. I think like a final point from me for anyone getting into our industry on Instagram, property developing, it's just to acknowledge that our industry on Insta is just, at the minute, it's just so tiny because how many people are property developers in the outside world? Whereas if you look at food,
design,
fashion,
architecture,
inside people's houses,
you
know, interior design in general, you can have like 50,000 followers overnight.
Yeah.
Whereas property developing, it is hard to get those.
Super
it's so
niche. Yeah.
It's hard to get those followers.
Yeah, because there's only so many people tuning in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
So, Jonathan, if you had one bit of advice to stand out on Instagram as like for us to wrap up, what would it be?
Oh, I'm going to nick yours. I know I am, but it's all about engaging, giving content, and just sharing as much about yourself as you can. That's how that's for me. Yeah, and like you just said, doing property alone will limit your audience. Yeah. So if you're doing other things, that's fine. There's no biggie about that. Yeah, and that comes back to all what we spoke about earlier about, you know, where our kind of actual, the base kind of followed from you know, using it as a company versus personal name, all that kind of stuff. That all comes back from there.
Think about that.
No, which, I mean, I never thought about it as limiting the audience. I just thought about it as I wanted to share like things like pictures of the dog, stuff like that. Yeah. What about you?
For me, it's understand what your position is and what you want your message to be.
Okay. And
then just put it out there in a consecutive manner. I've got loads of top tips about Instagram and I could talk about it all day. Another one is, a really important one is, you know...
Should we do it? Well, we'll do top 3 quick tips.
Okay, okay.
Bosh, 1.
Don't look at what other people are doing and try and replicate it. Like, find your own style.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, like, what's your USP?
Yeah.
Okay, and then B...
For some people, that might take a little bit of time, though, right?
Yeah, like, we didn't just rock up like, oh, this is what we do day one. It's like, you know, that takes a bit of evolution.
I had grey and yellow.
Okay.
In my blood.
But if you're really trying to get an angle, you know what I mean?
Do you know what colour these socks are?
What?
Yellow.
No, they're not.
And this one's grey. Go on, number 2.
Yeah, it's just to be authentic, like with it. It's all connected. And then number 3 is to actually engage, because that's what the name of the game is.
Yeah,
what about you? Top 3, go.
Top 3, you said them all.
Oh, okay.
You can't nick it. Well, no. Engagement number 1. Yeah. Number 2 is show your personality, which I'm pretty sure is what you said. I've just reworded it in a different way. And number 3 is to not do what I did to build the followers.
Yes.
Just take your time. It will come with time. So just, chill.
Can I add a 4th one?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, go on, shoot.
It's quite a good one.
Go on.
You've kind of got to get over yourself a bit, haven't you? Like, in terms
remove
of
the ego.
if you want to show what you're about, you've got to turn the camera around and talk to it.
Yeah, that's really important.
And, you know, like, friends and family, I think, kind of find that maybe a bit uncomfortable at times.
It's a bit weird.
Like, why is Jade talking to the camera? Like, who cares what she's talking about? And it's like, you know, thanks, friends and family, but I'm doing it for a business purpose. So just turn it round. Be genuine.
Put yourself out there.
People like that. It's good to see what someone's really about.
Agreed.
Do you know what? I even do them with no makeup on sometimes. Always have a filter. So that's not something
I don't need that.
See. But yeah, you've got to get over yourself, really. Just crack on.
Yeah. I like this. This is my job. When we talk about design, take 5. Hi guys, welcome to our new YouTube channel about property.
I'm really good.
Jade's having 5. There you go.
Literally, my cheeks have gone and everything. You know, at a point where you're like, okay.
Thank you for watching, guys. If you like what we're doing, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you want us to talk about anything specifically, then pop that in the comments below and we'll get back to you.
We'd love it if you'd come over to Instagram and give us a follow and say, hi, I'm B-Space, and you are?
Jonathan M. Iwanu. Thanks.